Hey everybody, AwesomeMattG here, and today we're going to show off a little bit of something I did in StarMade. This is post-commentary, but I decided to go flying around to test out wormholes to see how they function, because I didn't do any real research on what they are or how they work. I mean, I just assumed they were tunnels in space like wormholes are in pretty much every other sci-fi series, but I had no idea how they worked, what they looked like, how they functioned, or anything, so I decided to go to the nearest one and check it out. So this is post-commentary for that. So this is what they look like up close. I didn't start the recording until I got really close because I didn't know what this green thing was. I thought it was a space station from way far off. And we enter it and it starts talking about its warping space and time, and then it shoots us somewhere. Now as I come out the other end, you see me slowing down because I want to come to a stop so I can check my map and figure out where I am. And of course, I've gone to the next one that's connected with the purple line. That made sense to me. I was like, alright, cool, that's totally legit. That's what I expected. But now I'm thinking, okay, so how am I going to get back? Because this one's got two purple lines on it, so I'm like, well, if I enter it, will it like give me an option on where to go next? Like, will it say, do you want to go to the first one or do you go on to the second one? Something I didn't notice this early was that these wormholes have massive amounts of gravity. Like, I'll go into my map here and I'm thinking to myself, my ship's probably slowing down. But when I exit the map, you'll see for a split second before I start accelerating that my acceleration is like much higher than the 75 meters per second. I'm trying to figure out how this works. Yeah, for that split second it was much higher. So right here I'm accelerating because I'm thinking, alright, I need to keep my acceleration 75 so I can get there quicker. And a couple of times I take my finger off and you can see it go above 75. But it's kind of why it kicks you off when it throws you into the sector with the nearby wormhole. It puts you off in one of the far corners because it wants to be able to give you a chance to get out of the system without getting drawn towards it. And we will experience that towards the end of this short video. This is only going to be like 12 to 15 minutes, I think. So what my plans are, or what our plans are, yeah, see here I'm accelerating to like in the 80s, 90. And that beep is my stupid sticky keys. I gotta figure out how to disable it from activating after multiple shift presses. But here I'm starting to figure out, wait a second, I think I'm going faster than this. Because here we are at 95, 100. And if I'm kind of playing around with it, if you figure out, like holding down shift, which you would normally assume would be your slowdown button, it does decrease your speed, but it decreases it at the normal slowdown speed. But if you push up to accelerate, because the quote-unquote max acceleration is 75, it instantly pops you back down to 75. So the quickest way to stop accelerating towards one of these is to hit up and then shift, because it'll drop you from whatever your acceleration is down to 75. And then you can decrease acceleration from there. But here I'm like, alright, let's see how high this thing goes. We hit 200. Later in the video, in like 5 or 6 minutes or something, you'll watch me like accelerate. Just basically I go into it. There's stupid sticky keys. I go into my my ship and I just let it pull me in the whole way. Yeah, see here's 300 meters per second. So I'm like, alright, how's this work? Oh, well, it didn't ask me where I want to go. That's weird. Maybe it's random. So I pop over into the new system. Again, I come to a stop, thinking, oh, I'm far enough away from the wormhole. I won't be accelerated towards it. And I'm like, okay, nope, it took me even further away. Okay. And here is where I slowly figure out these little purple lines have little tiny arrows on them. And that's the direction it's going to take you. I'm like, oh my god, I'm 200 kilometers away from everything. And this is where I really start figuring out this acceleration. But, yeah, I'm like, why is this only, oh, the color of the line, and there's a little arrow, and, oh my god, it makes so much sense now. I think this is the point where I figure that out. Oh, no, here I'm thinking, maybe if I come at it from this direction, it'll push me towards that one. Because, yeah, I hadn't figured out the arrows yet. You'll see the revelation here in a minute when I'm like, what? Oh my god, I'm so dumb. And I couldn't figure out how far away from this thing I was. It looks so big from back here, and then you realize it's like, how far is that? I can't read that. Like 15 kilometers or something? It's like a significant distance. So yeah, when I was coming at this thing originally, the first one from my home planet, I saw it, physically I saw it from maybe 2 whole sectors away. I'm sorry, 2 whole systems away, not sectors. Which is probably like 15 sectors, 15, 20 sectors maybe away. I saw this little green thing and I kept thinking, oh, it's one of these space stations that's the ring, because I was coming at it from the side. And I was like, yeah, it's like green and blue. Okay, so they've got lights and stuff on it. And I kept coming across other space stations along the way, derelict ones and pirate space stations, and I'm like, God, this thing is not getting any bigger. Where is it? And then as I entered the sector, I was like, or entered the system that the wormhole was in, I was like, oh, I get it now. Yeah, 320, 40, and about 340, 350 is the max that I hit. Obviously you can't accelerate into it, because if you hit up it'll pop you down to 75 again. Alright, so we come out in this system. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I see I'm testing all the way out here in the corner, I'm still getting pulled towards the wormhole. So I'm looking and I'm like, no, it still pulled me way far away. And here's where I see the stupid arrow, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so dumb. And then I start connecting that the color of the purple line goes from deep purple to bright purple, and that's also an indicator of the direction it goes. So like you would, if you come in at it from the dark purple side, it's going to take you towards light purple. And that's how it fixes the problem with multiple purple connecting lines to one wormhole. It's not just 1-to-1. It's like 4 lines coming into one wormhole. That's 3 incoming, 1 outgoing. And then I start, towards the end of the video, I start connecting. I'm like, well, you go from this wormhole to this wormhole, and it takes you like all the way around the solar system. I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. All around the galaxy, sorry. I'm thinking in too small of terms. here I'm trying to fight against the gravitational pull of the wormhole to get me into the next system. I'm like, get me out of here. Otherwise, it's going to drag me like way out of the way, like way further than 220 something kilometers away. And then I start looking and there's like no wormhole connection that brings me back. So I'm just kind of screwed. But I know there are I don't know exactly what they're called. I think they're called player-created portals, which function sort of like wormholes. But you have to build them and then like manufacture I guess a box or a ring in space, and then you can pass through it, and it'll take you to a pre-designated output space. So we're gonna call, since this is a sci-fi building server, we're gonna, here I thought I'd already escaped. It's like, nope. Where am I? Oh, damn. I'm right up against it. Anyway, since this is a sci-fi server where we're going to be building a lot of sci-fi ships and stuff, we decided that we were going to call the man-made portals Stargates. So we haven't figured out how those work, but I'll probably mess with those next. And you know, our initial starting ships have all been made manually with collecting the resources from planets and asteroids, but I think our giant builds are going to be spawned in materials, because otherwise it would just take way too long. The big build we're going to do is like 2 kilometers wide and 1 kilometer tall. I'm not going to collect all those materials, you got to be kidding. So now I start thinking about, okay, how am I going to get back there? And I start looking at these purple lines, figuring out where they're connecting. And then I start realizing, see, that one goes that way, this one goes that way, and then, so you would go from here to there, and then that would connect you all the way over here, and that would go down, yeah. And then you start looking at how they connect, and you're like, nope, that one goes in, that one goes back around, and then it just loops you back around to there again. So if you stay in these wormholes long enough, you'll just get into this ring that goes around the outside of the galaxy that you're in. And then you're kind of screwed. It's really hard to get back into the center. Hundreds or thousands of kilometers, well, obviously more than hundreds of kilometers. I'm hundreds of kilometers away. 1,000 or more kilometers away. That would be insane. I mean, keep in mind, they've downscaled everything, so obviously in real galaxy it's not just 1,000 kilometers across. Alright, so let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.